Hold on to your loosh. The clown entities are back in town. When I say this, it's kind of like when a person says, hold on to your wallets. Because some group of individuals who are notorious for being scammers and thieves are back in town. I was recently asked a question by a user named Good Karma Works. He asks me, when you say hold on to your loosh, are you referring to semen retention? And this is interesting. I've had a couple of dreams about semen retention. I keep a dream journal, and this was kind of funny. In one dream, there was a guy, and this one I was very much aware of, and I was creating this mental story that was unfolding, and it was about a Westerner guy who was searching in the mountains of India for the nofap guru. And he came up at the top of the mountain. He was sweaty, and he sees him. He's sitting on top of a rock meditating, and he goes over to him and he says that I've heard that you are the nofap guru. And, the Indian guy, he's old, he has got a long beard. He's sitting there only wearing a loincloth. And he looks at him and he says, you're damn right, I'm the nofap guru. And then he pulls off his loincloth. And you see his dick, it's just covered in dust and crust. And there are like cobwebs that's been built, fastened to his balls and penis. He's been sitting there, not touching himself for so long that the spiders have built cobwebs attached to his penis and balls, and they've even caught some flies that are, attracted by the musk of his groin. Just to show off that, like, I haven't touched my dick for years, man. I'm the nofap master. All right. So that was the first vision. The second one was this dream, and I was wearing my yoga clothes. I have this white robe, and it's this pants and this long, it looks like a monk uniform. It's just white, and you can I sit and meditate in it. It's very comfortable. No pressure on your stomach. You can breathe freely. It's pretty damn close to being naked. And I was wearing this, and I was visiting this cave, and it was of course, still in the mountains of India, and there are India people doing yoga. Some of them are wearing a loincloth, some of them are doing it just naked inside of the cave. And the guru is overseeing his students doing yoga. And among them is, of course, this white foreigner in India doing yoga. And he's doing yoga naked. And I see him as like, he's probably from around where I'm from, because his hair is blonde, his eyes are blue, and I get this sense that he's kind of naive and young, so like early 20s, and he's practicing it naked, and he's wearing a pink chastity cage. So he's doing yoga, he's just finished doing yoga, naked, wearing his pink chastity cage. And as he's about to walk out of the cave, I nudge him in the shoulder and I say, hey, are you winning, son? And he's like, what? No, I mean, I see you're practicing yoga over there. Are you winning? Yes. Yeah, I guess so. Yes. And I was like, well, okay, nice. Have a nice day. And then he leaves. He just walks out. I'm like... And then I wake up, and that was the entire dream. It's basically, it's like having free, like my dreams are like having free cable TV. It's like a new sketch. It's a little theater play every night. That's, I guess, on a psychological level, it expresses how I feel about semen retention. But on a factual level, okay, let's be a little objective here. I've done Wim Hof breathing, and my record is 5 minutes of breath retention. Okay, and you can find those videos on YouTube where you hold your breath from 1 minute all the way up to 5 minutes. And my experience with jerking off and prana, which is the energy of the breath, being able to retain that energy so you can hold your breath longer, right? Which is the Wim Hof breathing method. It's what it's based on. You know, you hold your breath, you breathe, then you hold your breath, and you try to hold your breath for as long as possible. If you do masturbation and you try to hold your breath like that, I'd say, especially right after, or even when some time has passed, you will see that you perform less well. Even if you can do 3 minutes, you may not even be able to do 1 minute because of that. So there must be some depletion of prana, I guess, from personal sex, right? It makes sense. Now, in that sense, you could say that when you say hold on to your loosh, you're talking also about, semen retention, for instance. However, it goes deeper than that, because loosh is this energy that people who practice astral projection talk about negative entities feasting on. And the theory, I'm no expert, by the way, but the theory is kind of, it's based around Gnostic Christianity, from what I can see. Because in Gnosticism, it's like they have a heavy emphasis on what Jesus says when he says the devil is the god of this world. So in Gnostic cosmology, I guess, it's the earth, soul prison. Earth is a soul prison. And humans are souls from source who have been trapped into meat vessels and are siphoning source. It's being, there's a transmission and it goes into the body. And when our default state is to be one with source, one with love and pleasantness and have a good time. And what happens is that we come to earth and we're subjected to suffering. And while we are occupied with suffering, the source energy spills out of us, and the negative archon energies and the demiurge can feast on source as they are disconnected from it. And that's the only way. That's basically how they eat. That's what they eat. It's like a drug to them. It's like, oh my God, this source energy that only these humans have. I'm harvesting it by making them suffer. So a lot of focus is on not spilling away with your loosh and essentially being a bad cow at the farm. It's like, this one we should not reincarnate because he doesn't make loosh for us. That's what you want to do. And it's a nice entry to the concept of holding on to your personal power, right? Hold on to your loosh. Don't let these energy thieves steal your power. This also ties into the use of entheogenic compounds and plant medicines, or just pure meditation where you go very deep, you've become very advanced, and you run into obstacles because some things happen and it takes away your power. One example that anyone can hear is Joe Rogan talking about the time he probably did some edibles, some THC, and went into his floating tank, where he was able to relax to such an extent that all of a sudden he was in a rainforest and he was surrounded by people and he knew what they were saying. And they were wearing, like, he remembers one of them was wearing a blue shorts, and they were talking and he was following along the conversation. And then he realizes that he is in the rainforest and he understands their language and he's amazed by this, and it excites him so much that he drops out of it and wakes up in the floating tank again. So this one, you could say that's kind of like he should have held on to his loosh. He should have held on to his energy, right? So it's a very useful word. I mean a lot when I say hold on to your loosh. But number one, I think that I mean is like don't let these fucking entities, don't let these cocky little shit entities, these fucking brats, don't let them dominate you. Represent, man. Represent for humanity. Show those motherfuckers who's the boss. Because one time I went into this journey, and it was plant medicine assisted meditation. And I was meditating and I closed my eyes. It's like, oh, god damn, it's the fucking clowns. It was clowns and dark clouds with, fangs. They had mouths with fangs and stuff. I was like, god damn. It's a bunch of clowns and fangs, dude. I don't like this. It's like hell. It looks like a hell dimension. And I was like, god damn, I'm going to hold on to my loosh. I'm going to hold on to my loosh. And I just focused away from those guys, because when I focused on them, they came closer and there became more of them. But through meditating and through removing my focus elsewhere, I was able to actually change the course of that experience. And I was like, god damn, you got to hold on to your loosh, man. Sometimes you just got to hold on to your loosh. And I even have examples of the opposite, because a different time I was doing the same thing, but it was too similar. I'm like, dude, if we keep doing the same thing again and again, that isn't working. We might, or even if it's working too little, maybe we're missing out on more efficient, better ways of doing things. So what I did was I fucked it. I resisted. I purposely made it a so-called bad trip. It didn't become really bad, but it was like difficult. You need to have control. Don't you can't just take this and let it be what it, let things run its course by default if that's not working for you. You got to know when to hold on to your loosh. You got to know when to shake things up. It's personal power. Loosh is personal power, but it's seen, like when we say personal power, we're talking about interactions between humans, usually in a dominance hierarchy kind of way. Here, when I say loosh, it's interdimensional, it's transcendental, it's ascending, it's energy based. Like you might have a voice that's being very convoluted, and at some point your patience has run its course. It's like, entity piece of shit, I'm withholding my loosh from you because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're a fucking fool. You're a fool. And it's like, okay, this is, because it's one of those scammers. It's one of those, I'm a prince from Nigeria. If you give me a lot of loosh, I'm going to give you many millions of loosh. It's like, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. It's never going to happen. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. I'm going to focus on something else. And this is, it's very important. Now, the ultimate loosh is the knowledge of being solipsistic. This is something that you can learn very well from 5-MeO-DMT, the God molecule. And it is that the other people don't exist. That is just hypothetical that other people exists. Because it's like, even if they do, you do not have access to the objective outside supposed reality. You only have access to your subjective experience of there being one. And you can, through strength, through holding on to your loosh and amassing the full power of your loosh and joining to such an extent that you are source itself, you realize this, and you just change everything to the way you want it to be, because you're fully ascended. You've become God. That's the ultimate loosh, and that's why we have to hold on to our loosh, so that we may attain the full immersion into our own personal power. Not just on a physical level, but on all levels. That we are the loosh energy, and we are unopposed. We are it itself, and we will not be subject to the chains of these whims, because we would, at that perspective, you don't see negative or positive entities. It's all you, and you're like, yeah, it's like, you see things that you observe as your observation. It's not that outside other agent. It is that inside of me that manifests at that thing that is trying to be perceived as separate, but is not, because I am one with everything, and it's all me. And I can actually, if I really meditate deep and feel and sense within me, I can find my center, and I can make my way to that thing that pretends to be separate from me, and control it and reveal it, and expose it for simply being me, because I'm at the center. And that's why we do meditation, to center ourselves. That's to get in touch with that. But that can take, to get a clear understanding of where you're going, do some 5-MeO DMT. Yeah, well, there are retreats in countries where this is done legally. This doesn't have to be any shady business. I mean, this is a very strong compound, right? So this doesn't have to be shady. And it's a plant medicine. It's a toad medicine. And it's also available synthetically. And it's being used to cure people of fentanyl addiction and addiction to all these harmful substances that is just shitting all over people, just fucking, dishonoring and shitting all over people's lives, and, stealing their loosh. Don't accept that shit. Get in there. Maybe you can collect some loosh while you're at it. Get yourself some of that good loosh, and start integrating those teachings, those fantastic teachings that are going to lead to that realization that's going to get you up and ahead and closer to the final big loosh reveal, that it's all one, and you're oneness, power, yes.